Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catching Up with the Tolberts. Doesn't that sound like a reality show? Catching Up with the Tolberts. I'm Chelsea Whittington, and it is always my pleasure to drop in right here at 11th and Broadway to check in on attorneys Michael and Shalise Tolbert. I have been fussing with them offline about the ability to get on their calendar, and then I thought about it. When it's hard to book with someone, that means you're booked and busy and helping the people. And so I'm glad about that. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
In February. So we're catching up, and I also want to say happy anniversary. Michael, how long has it been that the Tolberts have been in business?
Well, we got our freedom papers.
It was
7 years ago is what I call it. I remember the day we got the freedom papers. So it was a great time, and it's nothing like starting your own business and the autonomy and the freedom that comes along with that. And knowing that everything that you do, you're doing it for your family, you're doing it for your legacy. So we thank God for being in business for 7 years, and we pray for many, many more.
Well, that is awesome. I could totally feel you on that. So now that that's how we term it, I'll have my 3-year freedom papers next month. And catching up with the Tolberts is what we're doing today. So, Shalise, I'm just going to jump in on a little news. Somebody made the paper the other day, and I always love when our clients make the paper for good reasons, right? And are deemed as experts. And so, as we know, President Biden is mulling over selections to have a Supreme Court justice that is African American and female, which will be a first in the history of this great nation. And they wanted to know what you said. They wanted to know what Shalise Tolbert thought. So what did you say, Shalise?
Well, I basically thought, and I still think, I guess I should say, that, it's time for our Supreme Court to reflect the nation. The diversity of the court should look like what our country looks like.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you have to be intentional about making that happen. And I think that's basically what President Biden is trying to do. But again, what people tend to think is that you get less qualified people when you're intentional. And that's not the case.
That is so not the case.
Excellent Black jurists that are female that would be wonderful candidates.
I nominate Shalise Tolbert. What do you all say out there?
I'm good.
You good?
I'll need to be
good. We need you and Gary anyway.
Right.
So, Mike, I always find that every time I run these interviews and put them on YouTube, we get new subscribers and some people who are not necessarily familiar with your firm. So I don't want to be presumptuous. For our new viewers, and it's 2022, can you recap briefly the services, the type of legal services you provide? Because every once in a while I will get a text and say, I've been in an accident. What's Shalise's number? Or what's Michael's number? So what do you cover? Who do you service?
Well, I would say first, we have a very unique business because we're a Christian-based business, which I don't think there are not too many law firms out there that have a spiritual focus and a faith-based focus. So I think that's what separates us from many of the law firms, is that we're faith-based. We incorporate God into everything that we do here, and that trickles down to the practice areas that we kind of serve. So we do personal injury work. So if you're injured in an automobile accident or injured generally, we can evaluate those cases for you. But we also have a unique practice from the perspective that we do defense work as well. So we kind of do both sides. So we get hired by insurance companies to defend their cases when they're sued. We get hired by corporations, businesses. If they're business and contract disputes, we get those as well. And then there's a little bit of an entree with our practice where we draft documents for business people. So if people come in and they have contracts that they want to solidify relationships with, if you have a contract with somebody that you want to perform a service or sell a good, we can draft those and make sure that you have all the provisions and the conditions that you need to protect yourself legally. So.
And that's a great service, and I will say I capitalized on that service. I feel like this is a commercial. I'm not only a member, I'm a client. But, from time to time, opportunities will come your way, and they may sound good, but you don't read the fine print. And so we rely on those of you in your profession to take a closer look to say, yeah, this sounds right, but you might want to add this language to cover yourselves. Talk a little bit more about how you do that, Shalise.
Well, for the most part, most of the time people end up getting what we call boilerplate language in these contracts, and they don't pay attention to that, just like you said, and sometimes it's not to their advantage. So we look for things that are going to help the client that we're serving, but make sure they're being treated fairly in whatever that agreement is, and the terms that they agree to are covered.
Well, I will say that I was treated fairly, and I have since renegotiated and renegotiated. No, okay. But no, it's always good to have that legal backing, to just take a look at your forms and things before you just go sign on the dotted line. People, talk to the Tolberts before you sign your lives away. Now, with us still being in the throes of a pandemic, we all have our masks here. We are all vaccinated and boosted for those watching. And that changes the whole setup of the workplace, the hiring process. And I think if you watch our last 3 episodes, we're saying the same 2 words. We're hiring, but I know you have an update, Madam HR Manager.
Yeah.
We've been putting it out there, but you have some roles open. And talk about what that dynamic looks like now that we're in a pandemic.
Well, now I think since the last time, we actually have another position open for legal secretary.
Okay.
That's experienced in civil litigation. I don't think we had that available last time. And so we are looking for someone who's got some experience, maybe about 3 years or so in civil litigation, that, we think would be a great fit with our team. We offer benefits, we offer commensurate salaries. And we, I think, create an atmosphere of family here. You're not just an employee, and you're not just a worker bee. We value the input of our staff, and we've got suggestion box. When they tell us something isn't working, we listen to them and try to figure out how to make this work, because they are the wheels that keep this engine going.
Absolutely. And they have snacks in the office. Just in case that seals the deal. It's the snacks for me in the kitchen back there, but I digress.
What about Black History Month?
Black History. Oh, let's get into Black History. I'm sitting in between Black History. I mean, when you talk about opening your own law firm, husband and wife team in the heart of downtown Gary, I don't see any more law firms on Broadway right in these parts. That's history to me. But what are you all doing as a firm or as a team to mark Black History? And I know you're going to say 365, but February in particular.
Well, we try to lead by example. So, the reason I brought up Black History is because one of the issues that Shalise and I are very passionate about is changing the depiction of how Black lawyers are viewed in our community and abroad. And if you look on television and even if you talk to some of your friends, the first thing they think about when they think of a Black lawyer, they think of a lawyer that does criminal law. We're very perceived to be pigeonholed in one practice area. But lawyers, African American lawyers, have so much range, obviously, based on the practice areas that we do. And I would just encourage everyone that's listening and that is watching, this Catching Up with the Tolberts to, support African American lawyers, support African American professionals, because that is the only way that we're going to be able to really strengthen our communities. And all the crime that you see in certain communities, that's just because of a lack of economic power that we have failed to harness. So we don't support each other. So I think that, with our publicists, we want to hire publicists. We didn't go outside. We went to somebody that we know. We went to African American professional, somebody that we've been knowing for a long time. And you are the best person, white or Black. So it crosses racial lines, because there's this perception that if you are a Black professional, then you're getting subpar service. That's not true. That's not true. So I want people to really focus on that this month is, hey, hire a Black professional, encourage your friends to hire Black professionals, because you're not getting subpar work, you're getting the best. You are indeed, if you are rocking with the Tolberts, and that's what we're doing right now if you just tuned in. Hello, I'm Chelsea Whittington with attorneys Shalise and Michael Tolbert. We're catching up with the Tolberts, and we've talked hiring, we've talked Black history, and I can't get out of here without talking about community. We're in a new
New year still, and you all pride yourselves on community service. As we look forward for the rest of the year, what are some of the things you think you might want to get involved in? You have so many different boards you sit on, and you do so much in the community. I'm always curious to see what's next.
Well, I always start the year off on Martin Luther King Jr. holiday with doing what's called Talk to a Lawyer for Free with the Northwest Indiana Pro Bono Services. So that was this year. I was stationed at the Lake Station Library this year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a Gary location or East Chicago, which is, the sites that I do. But I think I've been doing that for at least 17, 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And that's just a day where people, it's advertised, attorneys volunteer, sign up for a block of time and provide a certain amount of legal advice to people without creating an attorney-client relationship, but it's still getting people started so that they can know which way to go for what they perceive to be their legal issues to be.
Well,
so,
thank you for doing that.
Thank you. I enjoy it because I think that God put us here to help people, and that's part of it. It's not always about making money. It's not always about getting something out of it. If you can just help somebody, then that to me just is the ultimate thing that we're here for.
Yes, and I'm a believer when you give of yourself, it comes back tenfold all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to say something, Mike?
Yeah, I was just going to say 2022 is the year of increase. That's what
pulling it out of the air.
That's exactly what at the beginning of the year, what we do is the first official act of business here at Tolbert & Tolbert is we bless each and every office with oil.
Yes.
Really?
With blessed oil. We do that every year.
I didn't know that
We've
about
done
my
that.
own client.
Yeah, we do that every year. That's the first official act of business that we do here. So 2022 is the year of increase. We pray that God continues to bless us, bless you. And as he blesses us to be a blessing to others. So we pray that we'll be able to continue to be philanthropic and continue to just advance his kingdom and also help other people that are in need. So we get questions and inquiries almost every day for people asking for help. And, we want to get to a point where we can help anybody that calls. That's just our goal. So 2022, year of increase.
Yes.
So that's what we plan on doing.
Touch and agree.
Yes, right.
And I will definitely say one thing until you get to that point of being able to help everybody that calls. The thing I love about you all is you do the referrals. You send them to people you trust and know. And so I know that when I call Tolbert & Tolbert, that even if you can't help me, you'll make some viable suggestions of where we can get the legal help we need. And before we get out of here, I got to do something fun. What you got for the Super Bowl? I think I know, but or can we not
the Rams
say?
or the Bengals?
Yeah,
that's who's playing, right?
Yes.
I got Mary J. Blige.
Mary MJB for the halftime. I am there for it all. What about you, Mike?
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Cincinnati Bengals because of the Icky Wood. Let me do the Icky Wood.
Oh,
Icky Wood shuffle.
That is so.
The Icky Wood.
And this is what happens when you go live instead of record and edit later.
The Icky Wood shuffle.
Wow, how
we gonna go
old is
with
that?
because Icky Woods needs.
From how long ago?
I just gave Icky Woods a shot.
Oh man, he's gonna go viral and resurrect.
Unless you know who Icky Woods is, you're not a true Bengals fan.
Okay. Well, the only person I knew was Jeff Blake. How old does that make me?
Blake.
Let us not date ourselves. And I'm going to go on record that I'm going for the Rams for one selfish Gary reason.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The director of communication.
Artist
Artist Twyman,
right.
a West Side grad.
Right.
Went to West Side. Yes. And so if you happen to see this Artist Twyman, another example of a native Gary product doing something amazing. Good luck in the Super Bowl.
I'll switch. Can I switch there?
You can totally
I forgot about Artist.
I was going to let you see if you knew where I was going.
Soror's son, Mrs. Twyman, son. Come on, Artist, yes.
We totally don't care about the football. It's really not football for me. We're supporting you artists, and I want you to support the Tolberts. Go ahead and give that website and phone number and all that good stuff, Shalise.
All right, we are at 1085 Broadway, Suites B as in boy, Gary, Indiana. 219-427-0033. 0094, and the website is tolbertlegal.com.
You heard it here, everybody. Please share this video. And as Mike Tolbert said, make sure you support the Black businesses, not only in Black History Month, but 365 days of the year.
Icky shuffle. I need you to icky shuffle yourself down to 1085.
We can't make this stuff up.
It's just extra.
I'm signing off. Who you with? See WHITT. We're out. I'll see you next time.
Bye. Everybody.